Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today's card is another one inspired by Terry Runyon. She paints lots of cats and she does a lot of illustrations with watercolours, so I thought I'd give it a go because she makes it really look easy in her videos. So I'm going to link to her channel below. So what I've got some Tim Holtz watercolour paper here. I've chosen the smooth side. Any watercolour paper, any colour paper that takes a lot of water is fine. I have put some stick it removable adhesive on the back just to stick this down onto my scrap paper. I find it easier then to work with this. Sometimes it comes off during the process, but I don't mind. And I've got some watercolours here on the side. You can work with distress inks that you dilute. I'm going to link to these below. I think I got these from Amazon. It's just a plain set of watercolours. I have got a lot of watercolour pencils, but I didn't have any watercolours, so I decided to treat myself with this. So I'm just going to paint a cat like Terry Runyon does, and I'm going to show you some of the techniques she uses just to basically create the whole picture. I've decided to use some black because I've got a black cat, so I'm just going to water this down here, and I've just got some water in my brush here, and she uses very simple shapes which makes it easy to use to recreate this. So my idea is to have a cat here and to have a flower on the side. So I might actually do it the other way around. I might actually do the cat here. So she keeps it very simple for her images, which I think is really nice, and they makes them really look cute. And you can paint your cat any colour you want. It's just because I've got a black cat, but I prefer this to be black. So just filling this in, and as I said, I'm not an expert watercolorer, not at all. It's not my favourite medium anyway, but it is quite fun for this technique, or for this sort of style of cards. So all her cats have got big tails. I don't want to go over too much because I want to have space for the flowers, so just keep it like this. And I don't really try to copy her, but I find her videos very inspiring for basically trying these techniques and seeing where they lead me. So, and then the cat needs some ears. Just blending this in a little bit. Don't know if you can see because I've got a bit of shading there. So I'm just blending this in. And that's more or less it for the cat. So I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to take a different brush for the flower because I don't want this to mess up. I've got quite a few of these brushes. They're not too expensive. So I want a nice big flower. I think I'll go for some orange for the petals. I'll actually turn this around, so see, it's already coming off. The removable adhesive is not very strong, so I just start here, just very plain petals. I'm going to speed this up now a bit for the video because you don't need to see me paint these in detail. So as you can see, the shapes are really simple. It almost looks like a children's painting, but once I finish with it, it will have the charm that Terry Runyon's pictures have. And you also saw me, I'm a bit lazy. I could have some water on the table, but I just used the water from this brush, just wet the green, and then just used the dry of these brushes because this one wasn't filled. So it doesn't matter, you can use normal brushes and just wet the inks. So I'm just leaving this to dry for a bit before I'm going to put down the finishing touches with my pens. So in order to finish the image, we need some gel pens. I have got this white jelly pen. It's not even a branded one. It doesn't really matter as long as it's smooth flowing. And I've also got this zebra pen. It is a very light ballpoint pen. It flows quite nicely on the paper, which is really great for adding details. So I'm starting with a black pen and the flowers. I'm just drawing around the edges there. And that's really up to you what you want to do. I just like to give it this sort of finish. Because I didn't do any shading, I want to keep this as simple as I can. I went a bit off the edge here with the image because I wanted the petals to be all a similar length. You can see I didn't even hit the edge there, but it doesn't matter. I can just go in with my white pen and turn that into a feature. So have a bit of white there and then go in with the white there. My jelly pen doesn't have the greatest coverage, so I have to go over that a few times. So I'm also going in with the white here just as some feature. And just by doing that, you make it look more intentional and no one will question your ability to paint or draw. And as you can see, I'm just testing my pen or cleaning my pen on my scrap paper. There we go. So now, because we've got the cat very black, I need to have a good coverage. First of all, I'm going to add the eyes. I'm going to do that in a Terry Runyon style. She always has these round eyes. You can use a Posca pen if you wanted to, or you can even use some acrylic paint if you want a better coverage. But as you can see, I just take off any excess, anything that blocks up my pen. Sometimes it's better to dab it a bit as well. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So, and as we have black, I can't add a black now, so I'm just doing it in white. Smiley cat there. So, and I think the whiskers, because they will go on the outside, I think I'll add them in black. And they're actually not too bad, black on black. If you have a look here, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it actually shows properly there. So we'll have a bit of white in the ears. Again, if you've got any excess, if I'm picking up any black ink, just rubbing that off on the side. But that doesn't have to be perfect. So now I need to add some paws in the front. Just deciding how high I'm going to go. just keep it that simple. Can you see? It's not much at all, but it gives it enough character. And I think that's all I need to do. You can embellish the card if you do the cat in a different colour. You can have some stripes, anything, but I think maybe add a bit of white here just to tie the tail in a bit more. And I think I just leave it at this, just reinforcing this line. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I might put a bit of colour in the ears and see if that works, putting some ink over the jelly pen, just dabbing that on a bit. Yeah, that actually works. In which case I might actually turn the nose pink. My cat's got a black nose, but this is quite cute. Hope you can see that. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decide on a sentiment, and I might actually cut this down a little bit and put it on a mat, because I think it could do with some sort of frame of tying it in. I could add some more embellishments, some pattern or something with my watercolours, but I don't want to do this on this one. I want to keep this simple, so I might mat it on something either like mirror card is always nice to tie colours in, or might even pick an orange. I'll have a look in my stash what I have got. Okay, so I have added the sentiment here, and I was left with quite a bit of space on the top, so I added this sentiment here as well. I always forget that the Tim Holtz pages or the Tim Holtz sheets are an American format, which doesn't go with the, I thought it was 6x4, but it's not. So I cut this a bit slimmer to give it a good mat for my 6x4 card. I just wanted to show you how I choose my background papers. I decided to go for something patterned rather than plain, but I just wanted to show you the different effect to having something plain like this, which I think is actually quite nice, and the bluish purple is almost a periwinkle, goes quite nicely with the orange. But this I would think is more like a mail card inspired of the whirly writing. And I was also looking at this yellow with the flowers. Problems with this is if I don't place it properly, I would almost not see. I would see the flowers on this side, but it would leave the gap here, and it would look really, really awkward unless I spaced it properly and had a bit of the flower on each side. But again, that doesn't really work for me. So I just decided to go for this one here, which has got flowers more or less all over. And although it's quite busy, when I put it down though, it's got enough pattern to show that these are flowers, even if I've just got a bit of a rim here. And I like it's sort of a turquoise bluish colour, or almost aqua, which again I think works quite nicely with the orange, so I decided to go for this. So you can decide by your background what sort of colour scheme or finish you have to your card, and you have to keep these things in mind to actually give it the finish you really want. So I have cut my card base actually from the pattern cardstock. I left it at 12 inches, cut it down to 4 inches in width, and made it a top folding card. And I've put the picture on the front, and then just another panel on the inside, a blank panel for the sentiment. Yeah, I think this is really cute, very nice for a cat lover, very simple message, and yeah, I'm really pleased with this. And as you could see, it just took a few minutes to make, so maybe you want to have a go. And if you like this card, you might want to give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, I'm posting 2 to 3 times a week. You might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you again soon with the next video.